Greetings, we're getting ready for the next phase of our little venture here. In the last video, got arch ready for the show at Governor State University. We got down there for the install, and because of COVID, I was only able to just drop off the piece. I had this expectation that I would be able to install the sculpture, and I like to install my own sculptures because that way I get a, they're placed right. I can play with the lighting and get everything set up. In particular, since this is a wall piece, it's an opportunity to really kind of play with the shadowing. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Gallery director was nice enough to arrange a private viewing for the participants in the show. So we're heading down there today to see how they presented the show. And also the other bonus is that on the grounds is the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park. We were supposed to have an opportunity to come out and see the show, but there was a miscommunication between the gallery director and the security, and security won't let us into the building. So that's a bit of a drag, but there is this beautiful park out here, so I'm going to take the opportunity to walk around out here for a little while, check out some of the work. Brought my drone along, and as you guys know, I haven't had a chance to really play with it yet. I've been flying it exclusively indoors. Now granted, I have a huge warehouse space, and it's not like I'm flying it in my living room. It's been fun. It's a little windy today, but actually I think that works out well as far as being able to see what the drone is truly capable of. I guess gusts are like 15-20 miles an hour. But it seems like the video is pretty solid. I've been shooting this SUVERO piece. Having a chance to play with some of the different quick shot features on this DJI Mavic Air 2 drone. I mean, obviously there's a ton of potential. It definitely needs some space to work with. There's obviously some trees and vegetation around here that at one point I just got lucky and stuff like that. I was doing the kind of the drawback. Not sure what that shot's actually called, but where it starts and then pulls way back, and it split the difference between two trees. So that was a bit of luck on my part, but made for a cool shot. Beautiful day. It is getting hot out. There's a bit of a heat advisory today, and so I do need to be careful. I don't have any liquids on me, so I'm not going to stay out here too much longer. But like one of the things I wanted to play with was the rotation shot, where it does an orbit around me, and I wasn't sure if when you set the drone, if the radius is preset. So like if it's outside, it automatically does a radius of like say 50 feet or 100 feet or something. But apparently it does start where, depending on how close you are to the camera. And one of the limitations I realized is that I tried to do something like where the drone was mainly just like maybe a foot from me, and I couldn't define myself as a complete target, so it wouldn't rotate around me. It wasn't until I zoomed out or actually went above me and panned down, so it made my footprint literally a little bit smaller. So I was able to define myself as the center point, and then was able to do a fairly tight orbit of like a radius of, I don't know what it was, like probably 3 or 4 feet. And so so that certainly implies that if I set it up in the right way, that I can do indoor shots with the orbit command while I'm working and stuff. So I'm going to try that in studio tomorrow. Real nice day. I'm just sitting on this little bench here under some shade. I'll let my batteries cool down a little bit. Yeah, it's actually nice to be outside the city here. I'm just, I don't mind concrete, and as an artist, it's helpful to be in the city and access to resources and materials. But yeah, there's definitely something to be said for just kind of getting out in the green. I was hoping to get home to Pennsylvania for our annual trip this summer, but with COVID and the pandemic, I don't want to put my parents at risk, so I'm not going to, do that now. But that's usually when I reset my my greenness, hanging out in a field or on a mountaintop in central Pennsylvania. Sitting out here for an hour and playing with the drone definitely helps. One thing, you really want to have sculptures spread out when you got the space. You know, you don't want them, you know, it's one thing when you're in a gallery and you got work up on top of each other, but you really want to have your work, or when you're presenting even other people's work, you want things to be spread out. You want to have them have their kind of each individual space where they can live and breathe and interact with their surroundings. It could be cool when they have a relationship, you know, with other pieces. And I photographed one piece a little bit ago where you could see a piece off in the distance through the matrix of the existing sculpture. And so, you know, those two wind up, because of their relationship, having they have a relationship, they have a communication, a dialogue. That actually was super interesting in how they played that. But more often than not, it's nice when, especially large scale sculptures can have a place in their own. So here we are coming up on the John Henry sculpture. Yeah, so that piece is probably 140 feet wide, maybe 30 feet high. Give you a sense of the scale. Didn't read that way, being out here in the countryside, but as you kind of come up on it and stuff like that, it's pretty massive. So let's do that. Grab the drone. Yeah, so right here up underneath of it, you really kind of get a true sense of what the scale is. These tubes and boxes are probably, well, let's see here. Maybe a little bit over 2 foot, maybe 30 inches square. Nice breeze out. Actually, it's getting a little borderline breezy. About flew the drone into a tree, but got lucky again and survived that situation. Trying to figure out what's next. Definitely dig doing public sculpture, but funding's always a challenge. Figure out other ways to get my work out there. You know, definitely still, you know, play with galleries, consultants, YouTube, and other social media. Try to get work out there, but then also find time just to be in studio and make the work. I mean, I'm a studio rat. That's where I really like to be, playing with metal, you know, playing with the grime, getting dirty. Playing with fire. I was about to say who doesn't like playing with fire, but a few people don't. But for the most part, it's very intrinsic. You know, it's the basic tool. It's the one thing that allows us to make other tools so we can make even bigger things. And so, you know, when in doubt, blow stuff up, play with matches. Just trying to contemplate, look at the clouds a little bit, take a few deep breaths, head back into the city, and get back to studio and start making some new work. And hopefully at some point I can have a piece out here in the countryside. So we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Until then, be creative and be safe.